So welcome to your gentle flow and deep stretch class, your practice. I have a couple blocks at least, one strap with a buckle if you want that, and I have a pillow just off of the bed for our restorative pose at the end. If you need a bolster or a pillow, go ahead and grab that. We're going to start off in an opening Sukhasana, which is a just easy cross-leg sit. I'm going to show you sitting on a block. If your knees just naturally hang down, then you can probably skip this part, right? If you notice that you're sitting on the ground and your knees are pointing or lifting up a lot, you might find some benefit of sitting on the edge. So you don't want to sit exactly on the top of it, but on the edge, so that your knees fall lower than your hips. Roll your shoulders back and down, pull your low belly in and up. So start off with your best posture, even though it's a gentle class, right? That doesn't mean that we don't use our bodies actively at the same time, right? So zip the low belly in and up, find a comfortable seated position. Roll your shoulders back and down and then stack your vertebra one on top of the other. So it starts from your low back all the way up to your cervical spine, and it's like a staircase. Roll your shoulders up, back and down. Continue to lift your chest and let your collarbones spread. And your chin is just neutral, your gaze is straight in front of you. And then just gaze softly at whatever is in front of you, or you could even close your eyes. And as you breathe in, you know that you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know that you're breathing out. So on your inhale, inflate your belly, let your breath travel all the way up your spine. Your rib cage opens in all four directions. Your lungs go to full capacity. And then you exhale, let that travel back down without slumping or rounding in your spine. Stay long. Inhale, let the breath travel all the way up. Feel your collarbones open as your shoulder blades slide down your back. And then exhale, completely empty out your lungs. So you don't take your next breath in until your lungs are completely empty. And then inhale. And exhale. Beginning to even out your breath so that it is even and steady for your entire practice. You want your inhale and your exhale to match both in duration and intensity. And take a moment, even in this gentle flow with a deep stretch, to set an intention perhaps for your practice if that's something that serves you. Something I've kind of been refocusing on this week, maybe even last week, is that the key to your success in all things is in your daily routine. Whatever you make important for your daily routine is kind of the path that you are paving for yourself, the reality that you are creating. So spend just a few more moments right here, breathing in deeply and then exhaling completely. And then if you've truly been focusing on your breath, notice the quality of your mind as you are here seated in this position. Maybe a little bit more focused, a little bit more calm than when you first sat down, but maybe not, and that's okay. Now if you have anything going on with the neck, bulging discs, degenerative discs, anything like that, you might just turn your face from side to side. If everything else, if things are pretty good, you're just going to take an inhale. And then tuck your chin towards the notch in your throat as you exhale. Let the back of your neck kind of open up. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now you could stay right here if you just like this, or take your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Keep your shoulders back and down, your heart lifted. And then your chin comes back towards your throat, and then the left ear over towards your left shoulder. And just go side to side here. And those of you who really prefer, excuse me, who really prefer a full-on roll of the head of the neck, feel free to go there. As long as when your head comes back, you could still swallow and talk, so that you're not just completely closing off your throat, right? If you go in full circles, make sure you go in the opposite direction as well. Still being mindful of your shoulders, mindful of your breath. And you'll come right back to center. Then allow for the crown of your head to lift back up and roll your shoulders out a couple of times. Now on your inhale, reach your arms out and up, and then as you exhale, interlace your fingers and make a little basket for the back of your skull. So your elbows are opening out wide. On your inhale, lift your chest and lift your chin, right? So you're kind of looking up. And then as you exhale, close your elbows and tuck your chin. Inhale to lift and to open. And exhale to close and to tuck. Stay lifted in your spine. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, last 2. Last 1. And on your inhale, lift the crown of your head. And as you exhale, release your hands down and roll your shoulders back. Now again, as you inhale, reach your arms out and up. On your exhale, twist to the right. Let your left hand find your right thigh. Your right hand drops back behind you. Maybe you gaze over your right shoulder. Just getting a little bit of a baby twist here. Nothing too deep. And then you inhale, come back to center, reach your arms high. And as you exhale, gentle twist to the left. Your left hand comes behind your left hip, your right fingertips find your left thigh, but you're still lifted. And maybe you gaze over your left shoulder. Think of your shoulders stacking over your hips, and you breathe. And then inhale right back to front and center, arms up overhead. Exhale, let your elbows come back and down and lift your chest. So cactus your arms. And then inhale, reach your arms back up and look up. On the exhale, bring your hands down to the ground, and we're going to find our box pose. So if you had a block underneath you, slide it out, move it to the side, and then come to all fours. So spread your fingers out wide. Your knees are underneath your hips, and your shoulders, elbows, and wrists are stacked. Take an inhale, let your soft belly drop down. Find a cow pose. And then as you exhale, navel to your spine, dome out your upper back and tuck your chin. Now we've already done some work through the spine, so you can stay right here, moving through cat and cow if that's your jams. If you want to move into full-on like hip circles or anything like that, feel free to find a completely different movement, right? It's all good. It could be undulations with your spine. Maybe you press back to a child's pose. Whatever it is that you need. Just feeling out all of the little spaces in your body that feel great. And then maybe some of the spaces that feel ornery today. And then we're going to come back into our box pose. Now I know this is your gentle kind of restorative flow. But we're going to warm up the thighs, the legs just a little bit. So curl up your toes underneath you and take an inhale. On your exhale, hover your knees and your shins for 3, 2, and 1. Lift your hips up and back to a downward facing dog and let your chest press in towards your thighs. Stay here for just a moment. Relax your shoulders back from your ears. Take an inhale, and then right back to hovering your knees and your shins for just a few counts as you exhale. Knees and shins, so like a floating box pose. For 3, pull your belly in and up. 2, inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back. Good. One more. Take an inhale. Hover your knees and your shins as you exhale. Be right here. It's okay if you're already taking a break. It's not a big deal, right? Zip your low belly in and up. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back to your downward facing dog. Roll back onto the balls of your feet. Bring your knees to the ground. Shift your hips back and reach your arms forward into your child's pose. Let your forehead come down to the ground. Maybe you roll out your wrists. And then inhale, slide right back up into your box pose. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Take an inhale right here in your inverted letter V. And then as you exhale, as many steps as you need to walk your feet behind your hands, roughly at the top of your mat. Inhale, hands can come to 2 blocks in front of your feet, where your fingertips can come to your shoulders so that you can tabletop out your back. And then as you exhale, soft bend to your knees, take your chest to your thighs, and let the crown of your head hang down. You can grab onto opposite elbows. You can sway side to side. This is a rag doll, kind of like a dangling forward fold. And I would love it if you could feel some release in your low back here. So if that means to bend your knees, bend your knees. If you have extremely open hamstrings, it might also be beneficial to bend your knees so that you're not overstretching an area that already has a high level of flexibility, right? Good, y'all. And one more inhale right here. And then let your hands come down and really drape your chest to your thighs as you exhale. On your inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low, and reach your arms high. So coming into Utkatasana, your chair pose. And then you have the choice here to have the feet about hip width distance apart, if that feels better to your low back, or to zip your feet together. I like my feet together. It just feels better. I squeeze the inner thighs slightly towards one another. Sit the hips back and down. Good. Now as you inhale, you might just kind of drop a little bit lower. And then as you exhale, you kind of lift your hips a little bit. Inhale, sink lower. Exhale to lift a little. Good, y'all. Take about 5 more of these. You're just baby pulsing here, right? Your low belly pulled in and up, your chest is lifted. Last 3, 2, on the last one, exhale, stand all the way up and bring your hands to heart center. Roll your shoulders back and down. Pull your low belly in and up. And then inhale, reach your arms out and up. And as you exhale, take your right arm down and reach your left arm up and over. So you're getting a side body stretch now. I even sometimes reach my right hand over towards the left hip to keep it down. And gaze up underneath the left tricep. Now on your inhale, take both arms high. As you exhale, take your left arm down, and now reach your right arm up and over. If you feel this in your low back, lengthen your tail by drawing the top of your pubic bone towards your navel, and then your left hand can wrap around the front of your abdomen and catch your right hip. Gaze maybe up under your right tricep. And then on your inhale, take both arms to the sky. This time as you exhale, drop your right hand in between your shoulder blades and let your left hand catch your right elbow. Lift your chest, slight lift of your chin, and get a little stretch for your triceps here. Good. Continue to pull the pit of your belly in and up. So opening up everything in the body this morning, right? And on your inhale, take both arms high. The exhale, drop your left hand in between your shoulder blades and let your right hand catch your left elbow. And then you lift your chest, lift your chin. And then gently go a little bit deeper with your tricep stretch on the left arm. Breathe through all 4 corners of your feet to the ground so you have a strong foundation. You're stable. Inhale, slow release. Reach both arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, seal your palms and drop your thumbs behind the nape of your neck. So it's like a reverse prayer almost. Good. Stretching the triceps just a little bit more. If it feels okay, you can inhale, lift your chest and round ever so slightly through your upper back and take your elbows back a little bit. And we all release, reach the arms up overhead. Soft bend to your knees, take your chest to your thighs, exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Now on the exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat and soften your left knee down to the ground. Good. So now your right knee is tracking your heel or your ankle. Your hands can be on blocks if you want on either side of your right foot. Even if you have the flexibility, you don't actually need them. Sometimes it's nice to have them and just feel something different, right? So roll your shoulders back and down. Allow for the left hip flexor to begin to open. Keep your low belly pulled in and up. Good. Now take an inhale right here. On your exhale, shift your hips back. Slide your blocks back if you have them. And straighten your right leg. Flex your right toes back towards your shin. Think long, strong spine. So rather than rounding and taking your nose to your knee, elongate and take your chest to your ankle, right? And you're going to take this 3 more times. Inhale, walk forward. Find your low lunge. Lift your chest. Lift your gaze. Exhale, slide yourself back. Half split. Straighten your right leg. Good. 2 more. Inhale, walk it forward. Exhale, shift yourself back. Make sure you're moving with your breath. It's important. Inhale, walk yourself forward. Feel this out 1 more time. Maybe you wiggle around in the hips and see what's going on. And then exhale, shift yourself back. Straighten your right leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. Now I'm going to offer you something here. So the more you can bring your navel towards your right thigh, the more the right hip will kind of pull back. So you can leave your left hand on a block if you want. And if you've got the stability, so I'm going to open out my gait a little bit, my stance. Take your right hand kind of towards your right hip and just make sure everything is leveled off and squared. So my right hip is pulling forward a lot. Now, I want you to kind of actively roll your right outer hip down. It's going to maybe create the phenomenon of your right toes turning outward. I want to see if you can do this while keeping your right toes pointing up, but you're moving the fleshy outer hip down. Good. And staying right here, maybe you reach your right arm up to the sky. Trying to keep the hips level and squared. Maybe you take your gaze to your right hand. Breathe here. Pull your low belly in and up and relax your right shoulder. Just keep breathing. Take 1 more inhale. And then drop your right hand back down as you exhale. Inhale, slowly bring yourself back forward. And then it's a big step. Curl up your back toes, lift your back knee. Exhale, left foot to the right. Forward fold, chest to your thighs, crown of your head down. Good, y'all. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. And as you exhale, bring your hands down and now step your right foot to the back of your mat and soften your right knee down. Stack your left knee, your shin, your ankle. Your blocks can come to either side of your left foot if you're going to go there. Roll your shoulders back and down. So there is a diagonal from your right hip to your right thigh to your knee, but lift your chest and pull your belly up and roll your shoulders back. Good, y'all. No tension in the neck. Take an inhale right here. And then as you exhale, shift your hips back, straighten your left leg, and flex your toes back towards your shin. Awesome. Maybe you reach back and kind of feel out the hips. Notice if one is lifting, if one is pulling forward more than the other. These little micro shifts create big changes in your practice. Now from here, inhale, walk this forward. Rebend your left knee, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, stretch. And on the exhale, shift it back, Straighten your left leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. Keep your spine long the whole time. 2 more. Inhale, come forward. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest, your chin, maybe your gaze to the ceiling. And then exhale, shift yourself back, straighten your left leg and flex your left toes. Last one, inhale. And exhale. This one you hold. I'm going to kind of separate out the knees a little bit. Try to pull your left hip back, your right hip forward. Lengthen your spine. Take your heart towards your ankle. And then you got to kind of squeeze your inner thighs towards one another while at the same time you're opening your left hamstring to get your left hand to your hip, right? And then kind of move that without your toes moving out to the left. Can you externally rotate that fleshy stuff of your outer hip down, right? Move that out. Good, without your hips completely going wonky like mine just did. And then maybe, just maybe, you take your left arm up to the sky. Open up your chest. Pull your left hip back. Breathe. Good. Open up your chest. Let your left shoulder, your collarbone reach towards the sky. Your right hand can be on a block. It can be on the ground. It's whatever feels better for you. And then you take an inhale. And let your left hand come down as you exhale. Slowly walk yourself forward as you inhale. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. Now as you exhale, you're going to spin to the right and you're in like a wide leg forward fold. So I'm going to flip forward, yeah? So y'all can see me. Awesome. So from here, take an inhale, halfway lift, so tabletop your spine. Now as you exhale, turn your toes slightly to the right and bend into your right knee and soften your hips down. So it's a low skandasana. So you're more than welcome to stay high with your shoulders and your hips in line. It looks more like this, with the belly pulled in and up. If you want to come down low, there's a deep bend to the right knee. Your left leg extends out long and strong, and your left toes flex up towards your shin. Roll your shoulders back and down, kind of lift your chest and pull your belly in and up. Breathe here, working into the inner thigh. Watch your left knee so it's not overextending. So you got to squeeze at the base of your pubic bone here, right? Breathe, lift your chest. Relax your face. It's all good, y'all. And then when you're ready, let your hands come down to the ground. Inhale to lift your hips and shift back through center. Now turn your toes slightly to the left. Exhale, bend into your left knee and straighten your right leg. So the choice is yours to stay high or to come down into your low skandasana. Let your hips sink down. You could sit on a block. I mean, there's one right underneath me anyway. And then lift your chest. Your hands could be at heart center. Your hands can be on the ground. What is it that you need to feel supported and to feel like you're also opening and stretching and, you know, maybe getting just a tad bit uncomfortable, right? Squeeze at the base of your pubic bone so you're lifting here. And then if your hands are at heart center, let your sternum reach up towards your thumbs. And breathe. Your left ankle is probably talking to you a little bit, right? It's okay, as long as it's not painful. And then you want to check out your right knee and make sure that it's not overextending and like going flat down to the ground. Yeah. Awesome, y'all. Low belly, you pull it in and up so you support your low back. It's important. One more exhale right here. And then bring your hands down. Inhale, lift your hips. Turn your toes either to 12 o'clock or slightly pigeon-toed. And then exhale, drape your chest in between your thighs. Let the crown of your head reach down. So actively pull your shoulders away from your ears. So you're letting your shoulder blades slide down your back towards your sits bones. I like to take an inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, go a little bit deeper. You do what you need to do Continue to press actively into both feet. And then maybe you tuck your chin. Keep breathing. Your hands could be on blocks here, right? If the hands don't feel like coming all the way down to the ground, don't force it. It is all good. One more full round of breath. And when you inhale, just lift your chest halfway. As you exhale, flip over your left leg so you're pointed back towards the top of your mat, and then step your back foot forward and you're in your forward fold at the top of your mat. Take an inhale, reset your spine, halfway lift, belly pulls in and up. And then exhale, chest to your thighs, melt yourself down. Come all the way up to standing with an inhale. Take your arms out and up. And then your right arm drops down and your left arm reaches up and over as you exhale. Both arms to the sky with your inhale. And then your left arm comes down and your right arm reaches up and over as you exhale. Good. Come right back up with your inhale. And then this time, whatever feels better to you, you can grab opposite elbows behind your back. Or if you want to take reverse prayer hands, you absolutely can. The palms together. Take the knife edge of your hands in between your shoulder blades, fingertips pointing up towards your head, yeah? So it looks like this. Now from here, step your left foot back, right? And just bring your right leg forward. So coming into a pyramid before we come down. It's been a lot of opening in the back of your legs, so I do know that. So feel free to take a bend to your right knee. Inhale to lift your chest. Now on the exhale, hinge forward. So you're opening up for your shoulders as well, and take your navel towards your right thigh bone. Good. Keep pressing down into the big toe ball mound of your right foot. And if you have reverse prayer, try to pull your elbows up. So if you notice that they're rounding, so your shoulders are actually rounding forward, so your elbows collapse in, lift them up like little wings, yeah? Gaze to your right big toe, you're breathing here. Now this is a little bitty bit of core because you're gonna inhale, lift yourself up without your arms, yeah? And then exhale, step your left foot forward. You're right back at the top of your mat. If you hate the arms, get rid of them. It's all good. If you dig it, stay. Root down into the four corners of your left foot, step your right foot back. Inhale, lift your chest. So you get this little baby, like supported back bend with your hands behind your upper back, right? And then as you exhale, you hinge forward at your hip. Take your navel towards your left thigh bone. Try not to lock out your left knee. Pull your left hip back and your right hip forward. Relax your brows, your jaw, all that good stuff. And then as you inhale, you press down into the big toe ball mound of your left foot and you lift your chest back up. And then exhale, step your right foot forward. Release your hands. Now I like to roll my arms, my wrists out after taking reverse prayer. So do what you need to do. Now on your inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, soft bend to your knees as you come all the way down forward. Fold chest to your thighs. Now inhale, take your halfway lift. On the exhale, step your feet out. Turn your heels in, your toes out, and drop your hips down to your malasana, your yogic squat. Now, if you've got blocks, you can stack up to like 2, maybe 3 blocks if that feels comfortable and safe to you, and sit on it. It's all good. If you find that your heels are consistently lifted in this yogic squat in malasana, I'm going to invite you to practice rolling up your mat, especially since you're at home, right? You got all the time in the world to, not all the time in the world, like you don't have to stay completely on whatever it is that we're doing. So you would then take your heels to your rolled up mat. Your heels are still in, toes out, and then you drop yourself down. right? So that just allows for your heels to feel supported so that you're not so deep into the ball mounds or the toe pedals on your feet. And it will actually, you know, kind of start to help create that muscle memory in your feet, or maybe your heels, like everything that's around your Achilles, to kind of soften so that the heels start getting closer to the ground, right? It's a great place to be. Because at the end of the day, and I tell you this all the time, there are no shortcuts in your yoga practice. Shortcuts are injuries, and forcing your heels down when they don't want to go down, or being in a weird spot the whole time you're holding something like this, it makes it not fun anymore, right? And it can also be dangerous to your feet and to the rest of your body. So find that space. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Breathe through it. And then when you're ready, bring your hands down. Lift your hips. If you rolled your mat up, just step back and let it unroll itself back out. And then turn your toes to 12 o'clock. And drape your chest on top of your thighs. Let the crown of your head hang down. All right, so from here, inhale, take a halfway lift. Now on your exhale, I'm going to have you roll kind of to the balls of your feet so you can drop down to a low squat. It is a supported toe stand. Your hands could also be on blocks. Take an inhale right here, and then just find your way down to a seated position as you exhale. So from here, I'm going to have you extend both legs out in front of you. Roll out your ankles if you need to, because between Malasana and then our low squat there just now, maybe your ankles need some release, yeah? And then take a bend to your knees. I'm actually going to have you cross your right ankle over your left knee. So it looks like a figure 4. And just kind of be here for a second. Let your right knee, right? And when you're ready, this right here might be plenty, right? But if you would like a little bit more, you can bring your hands back behind your hips. I want you to roll your shoulders back and lift your chest, pull your belly in. You can start to bend into your left knee and draw your left heel in. So now you're in this like seated half pigeon. And just maybe you are here. And it feels great. And so you stay. Take the knots on the fronts of your shoulders and roll those back. Lift your chest. Open your collarbones. And then if this is not enough, you start to move your hips and your left heel closer to one another, right? I've told y'all this before as well, that I can get all the way right here and I don't feel anything. Like it looks like I'm super deep, but I don't feel anything. But I hit this one spot like somewhere back here, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is, right? So just because it looks deeper, it looks harder, doesn't mean that it is. So really feel out what's happening in your body so that you feel what you want to feel. Yeah? Feel what you're looking for. Nice, y'all. Now you are more than welcome to stay right here. If you just really would like a reclined pigeon and to lay all the way back on your back and take it here, do that too, yeah? Otherwise, if you would like to follow me into a double pigeon, let your left foot come down, and you're gonna stack your right shin on top of the left. So facing forward, it looks like this. Ideally for double pigeon, you stack your shins and the ankles like fall out. So like the right ankle actually is outside of the left knee, and your left ankle is like passing your right knee. They're not stacked like this, right? It's more like this. If that's not gonna happen today, it's all good, right? Lift your chest, pull your shoulders back. Now you can just hang out right here. Some of you might like to have your hands back behind you and lift your chest. Some of you are gonna walk this forward and bring your chest all the way down. Relax your shoulders back and down. Now remember, you're not married to any of these shapes. So if you get into something and you're like, this is not for me, I'm going to ask you to back out of it just like I would if you get into anything else in your life and you realize this ain't for me, right? So there you go. Take your chest towards your thigh, your shin maybe. And you're breathing. Relax your brows. So you've got options. You're either in your reclined half pigeon, any variation of that. You're in that seated half pigeon, maybe double pigeon, or maybe you like flew the coop and you went through to full-on half pigeon with your belly down, right? I don't know. I can't see you. So just do what you need to do. But do keep breathing. Slowly walk yourself back. And then bring your hands behind you. So wherever you went, your hands are going to come behind you. Unravel and bring your feet down to the ground about hip-width distance apart. And then lift up your chest. And you can windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Right? Let me just take the other side. Yeah. So from here, cross your left ankle over your right, no, extend your right leg. I forgot about that part. Extend your right leg. Take your left ankle on top of your right thigh. And honestly, just be here for a second. Like, just let the left thigh, the left hip acclimate to being open, to being externally rotated in this way. Your right leg is active, so your toes are flexing back towards your shin. And your belly is pulled in and up, and lift your chest. Just gonna be there for a moment. And then if you need more, like if this honestly is already a lot of sensation, this is absolutely where you stay. You could even bring a block underneath your left thigh or your knee, right? If you want to go into the seated variation of your half pigeon, kind of lean back so that you can bend your right knee and slide your right heel in. And then once your right foot comes in, lift your chest. You want your shoulders over your hips, your palms down into the ground, and your left foot is slightly flexed. You kind of feel this out. I kind of move around a little bit at first until I kind of know where I'm at. And then I start to move my hips forward and backward until I find the sweet spot where it's a deep stretch. There should be no pain in your left knee. So if you feel something in your left knee, that means we need to approach it differently. Roll your shoulders back. So those knots on the fronts of your shoulders, if they're rolling forward, pull them back and open up your chest. Breathe here. I totally realized just now that I said flew the coop whenever we were doing pigeon. That was an unintentional dad joke. So I didn't even think about that. So from here, in your seated half pigeon, you can stay here. You can lie down on your back and take a reclined half pigeon. A lot of people just love this, right? To do that if you need. If you want to follow me and move into a double pigeon, take your right foot, your right shin down, and let your left shin cross on top of it. So they also call this fire log, right? Agni Stambhasana. So you're going to flex through both feet. Again, you could also have a block here in between your left knee and your right leg, right? So find what you need. We're going to be here. It looks like, so if you've taken your double pigeon, it looks like you have this little baby equilateral triangle in the legs, right? Now you can bring your hands behind you and lift your chest. You could also walk all the way forward and drape your chest on top of your shins. Roll your shoulders back and down. Wherever you are, maybe you close down your eyes, relax your brows, wiggle your jaw from side to side. gently press yourself back up. Wherever you went, unravel, and then extend both of your legs out in front of you. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift your chest, and then drop your hands next to your hips for a staff pose for a moment, so that you can breathe in and out right here. Pull your low belly in and up. Good, y'all. And then if you need to release some way out of the hamstrings, feel free to inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, take your chest to your thighs, your hands to your feet, and relax your shoulders back and down. And slowly bring your shoulders back up over your hips. Relax your shoulders back and down. Now I'm going to turn and face the long edge just so that I have a little bit more space. So from here, reach your legs out for a wide straddle. You can bring your hands behind your hips so that you can lift your chest and kind of roll your hips through. Take an inhale. And then on your exhale, hinge at your hips if you can. Again, you could sit on the edge of a block like I did at the very beginning to lift your hips. And then slowly walk yourself forward until your chest is down on the ground. Good. Now, some of you might be like, my chest is not going to go to the ground. That's fine. You want your knees and your toes to point up. And maybe you stop right here. If you have your pillow or your bolster, feel free to drop it down right here. And if you reach all the way down and want to rest your torso on it, be my guest. You might even just come right here to the elbows and the forearms. Just go where your practice is today. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to be honest. When you're ready, slowly lift yourself back up. Gently bring your legs back together. And bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees hang comfortably open. So coming into butterfly. Your heels can come in towards your sits bones. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chest. Take an inhale. And then maybe you hinge forward as you exhale. Only if you need to. You're more than welcome to stay lifted with your shoulders over your hips, right? If you need more, you hinge. Try to keep your back long and strong, your chest open. And breathe. And slowly lift yourself back up. Bring your knees together like the cover of a book. And then here's where we're going to use some of our props, our accoutrements. Grab one block. I'm going to place it back here on my, and I'm going to grab my pillow. And as you can see, I'm going to set my pillow up to where it's slightly at an incline. So the block is underneath, more or less like where I'm going to eventually put my head, yeah? And then if you're going to want some blocks to put underneath your outer thighs, you could also use more pillows. You could use blankets. It's really up to you. And then you're going to grab your strap. Take your legs into butterfly shape, right? And then you're going to take your strap around you. So you want this to be below your low back. So kind of like try to get it down closer, kind of around the hips. What you don't want is whenever you lean back in a second, is for this to be digging into your low back, right? So you want it lower than that. And I like to have my strap kind of up here by my my buckle up here kind of by my right hip so that I can control if I need to tighten or loosen whatever is happening here. So from there, lengthen this out a little bit. You're going to loop this around your feet. So I'll turn it face forward. So you're making like a little harness for yourself, right? So I have this side of the strap around my, lower than my low back, around my hips. And then I looped the other side up here around my feet. And then I'm gonna find my spot and lean back. And I'm actually gonna tighten my strap a little bit. And then my feet are just resting. So here's where you could take blocks or anything else and put them outside of your thighs so that you don't overdo the hips. And you're gonna be here for a couple of minutes, y'all. I mean, you could be here for 10 minutes, right? If you wanted to be. If you wanna just really get into this. If you're using blankets underneath your legs, then your hands might be resting on the blankets. Relax your shoulders back and down, let your chest lift. And maybe you close down your eyes and you just breathe, right? Now if you don't have the strap, just take a reclined butterfly, right? Even if you don't have a block or a pillow, you can just lay flat on your back and take butterfly legs. So do what you've got available to you. Take your time and find that sweet spot for yourself. I know it can be whenever you're at home doing a practice online. Whenever we're in these poses that we're holding, 3 minutes can seem like 20. So if you start to get nervous and fidgety, it's okay. And I invite you to not distract yourself with anything else, or to pick up your phone, or to come out of the posture. I invite you to close your eyes and to breathe in and to know that you're breathing in. And to breathe out, and to know that you're breathing out. As you're here, are there any places that you could relax a little bit more? Is there any weight that you're carrying that you don't even realize? Maybe in your traps, the shoulders, your hips or your glutes, your thighs, your belly. in just a traditional supine butterfly. Be very gentle, bringing your knees back together as the hips have been open for a little while and without support, right? If you have blocks underneath your thighs or your knees, slowly begin to slide them out. And if you were just loving it here, stay, right? I could stay here forever. And then bring your hands, your forearms, your elbows down so that you can gently press yourself back up. Loosen up your straps so that you can kind of slide it out from underneath you or around you. And then you'll move your bolster or your pillows, move your block, and one vertebra at a time come down onto your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Take your time. And then as you exhale, drop your knees to one side and turn your gaze on the opposite side for a spinal twist. Let your shoulders be heavy. Inhale, draw your knees back through center. And as you exhale, drop them in the opposite direction. Turn your face away from your knees and twist in the other way. Keep your low belly pulled in. You're still supporting your spine even as you twist. Inhale, maybe one knee at a time, come back through center. And as you exhale, press your feet up to the sky for waterfall pose, legs up the wall. You could totally bring your feet back down to the ground and inhale, lift your hips, slide a block underneath your hips and take a supported waterfall. I'm going to stay right here without any props at all. You're here for maybe 3 to 5 breaths, so be comfortable with feet up in the sky, allowing them some rest from the activities that they do all day, every day, walking us around, biking us around. And take one more inhale. Hug your knees in towards your chest and round your forehead up to your knees as you exhale. Take a deep breath in. And then open up to your Shavasana as you breathe out. Extend your legs full. Let your feet hang comfortably open and your arms just come down by the side. Body slightly roll your shoulders back and underneath you. And if it's not comfortable to close your eyes down for Shavasana, then just gaze softly at the ceiling above you. Otherwise, close down your eyes and rest. you need is to be here longer, honestly, just tune me out and stay right where you are. There's no rush. There's nothing else to do. You're not missing anything if you stay there. If you are ready to exit your practice, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Deepen your breath. And on your inhale, reach your arms up over your head. And as you exhale, tuck your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. And you'll roll over to the right or rock up to your comfortable, easy sit, just right where you are. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift your chest. And take that moment right here to remind yourself that the key to your success is in your daily routine, right? Showing up to your mat consistently, doing what you need for yourself to make sure that you are taken care of, that you are healthy. So thank you for showing up this morning. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace be with each and every one of you. Namaste.